There are a lot of high achievers that have tumultuous childhoods, but you would never know because a high achiever will never admit to it. But here's the thing about high achievers. High achievers are high achieving for a reason. In this video, I'm interviewing a woman about her trauma default. It's really about how the narrative of what she's telling herself about her childhood has shaped her entire adulthood, including her ability to be able to make money. So I can't wait for you to get this information because I want you to really get clear on how your trauma default and how the story of your childhood has shaped your narrative today. My name is Christy Rutherford, and I'm the creator of the Trauma Default Breakthrough Method, where I've assisted leaders with getting over $20 million in salary raises. We've saved 30 marriages and reversed stress-related medical conditions in 36 people by figuring out what was their trauma default and solving it. I can't wait for you to watch this video. So you were a foster kid.
Yeah.
Give me a snapshot of your first 10 years.
Raised by a very controlling and domineering woman, disciplinarian, firm disciplinarian, can't say anything bad, can't respond, so builds up anger and frustration.
So were you fostered your entire life, or did you go into the system at a certain age, or like give me that?
Parents terminated rights. Grandparents got me at 1.
So you were raised by your grandparents?
Yeah.
That's not a foster kid. What are you talking about?
They rescued me from going into the system when I was about to.
So the domineering person was your grandmother?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's different. So here's the thing, and I'm not judging you, but this is how I talk. I mean, if you follow me, I'm very direct because we ain't got time to be playing around. That's what therapists do. They drag you for 3 years. We're gonna get this thing settled in 15 minutes, maybe 10. Who told you that you were fostered? Where did that narrative come from?
That's the name I was given from cousins and siblings who were kept. So that's how I was treated from the family.
Where are you from?
Louisiana.
Oh, okay, small town. Great. All right, because that's pettiness that only small places can do. So we got to shape this narrative because that narrative that you have is it shapes how you see yourself. And if it shapes how you see yourself, it shapes everything about the story that you tell yourself and how you're showing up today. Does that make sense? So we gotta break this down. And did you see your mama, or was she going? Not going? Was she through the wind? Which one was it?
In and out, but very resentful.
Your mama was resentful to you.
Yeah.
Are you the only child?
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm gonna show y'all what I'm doing right here because this is pretty much what I do with my clients. I look at people like a quilt. I don't judge the patches of a quilt because I'm whole. And I want to be clear with y'all. A lot of successful people have some of the craziest childhoods you ever heard of in your life. You would never know. These are directors and vice presidents and COOs and CEOs. You would never know because they never told you and you never asked. A lot of high achieving people who can't stop are survivors. A lot of high achieving people who can't stop are running from something, but their money and their success, they never realize that they're successful and they have money because they're running from the past. So how I look at people, I look at you like a quilt. So as I'm collecting data, Layla, to get clear on like what these patches look like, because if I get clear on what your childhood looks like, I can pretty much predict with about 95 to 97% accuracy of how you're showing up as an adult in every area of your life.
Okay.
So I'm not in your business. I'm trying to get clear on what these patches are. Okay. Now, raised by your grandparents, how was your grandfather?
Cool and laid back.
Okay, great. So you had somebody who loved you, which is why you're still alive.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So your grandmother, you weren't fostered. You were raised by your grandparents. Let's clean that story up. However, you were severely judged by everybody in your family.
Yeah.
All the time.
All the time.
Even your mama.
Yeah.
And your grandmama didn't play that. But your grandmama didn't play with anybody. She definitely ain't gonna play with another a kid that she got in the house that she's trying to raise. You still alive.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you successful? Do you consider yourself to be successful?
No.
Are you successful, or you don't consider yourself to be successful, or both? Which one is it?
Both.
Okay. What do you do professionally?
Right now, unemployed.
What did you do before you were unemployed?
Admissions.
Admissions at a college?
Yeah.
Did you go to college?
I did, yeah.
How many degrees you got?
2.
You got a master's degree?
Yeah.
And you were working at admissions at a college?
Yeah.
Okay, so you lowballed yourself.
I did. Yeah.
Okay, because you don't know how great you are.
Correct.
Okay, so technically you could be more successful than you are. Because here's why I'm asking you that: how you following me if you're not making at least $125,000, $150,000 a year? And I say that, Layla, because most people who follow me, they don't make that, but that should be at least your bare minimum capacity. I speak the language of champions, and really only champions can manage listening to me. And if you can manage listening to me, you should be making at least $125,000, $150,000 a year. Now, if you're not, it's because of the patches on your quilt and how you see yourself. Okay, let's continue. So you went to college. You didn't become a bum. You ain't working at 7-Eleven.
Not a bum, but Dollar Tree and retail is what I was doing as well.
After you got your master's degree?
Yeah.
So you have a divided perception of yourself. You got you, and then you got your higher being, inner being, capital YOUU, all caps you, and then you got your puny you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Your all caps you weathered the storm and the judgment and the almost isolation. Were you isolated by your family? Because if they talked about you all the time,
Yeah.
well, I know y'all had cookouts. What were you doing? What were you doing in the cookouts?
Reading.
What?
Reading.
So while your family in Louisiana, black family, you sound black. Are you black?
I'm Black. Yes.
Okay, I just had to make sure. Your black family having a cookout in Louisiana, you reading.
Yes.
Where? In the room or in the corner? Or on the porch?
On the porch sometimes, in the room sometimes. Yes.
This was your childhood.
Yes.
Okay, but you got good grades in school.
Straight A's.
Okay, because your grandmama was whoop you up, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you could control school.
Yeah.
You couldn't control your home circumstances.
Yeah.
Did you feel safe at school?
Not really.
Why not? Because your cousins, your raggedy cousins, were there.
Because I think I chose friendships that merit relationships in the family.
Oh, so your friends were bullies.
Yeah.
How tall are you?
5'4".
Okay, so you're small too. Okay, that makes a difference. Okay, great. Now, put a yes in the chat if y'all hear me collecting these data points. And again, this ain't no judgment. This is just trying to see how you see yourself. And if we all took the time to like look at how we see ourselves, because how you see yourself is how you show up in a room, which reflects how people treat you. James Allen says something like, man thinks that thoughts can be kept secret, but they cannot. So what I'm doing right now, Layla, I'm trying to get this, right? Like this quilt, this patch, because all of these things of how you see yourself, which I don't know if anybody has ever asked you these questions before, is shaping how your life is going and has gone. And
Correct.
if we can get you to change this, everything changes.
Okay.
Okay, great. So I want to be clear. This $20 million in salary raises that I got my clients was this work. I ain't tell nobody. ChatGPT called me a gatekeeper. You'd be like, all right, fine. Like, this is what we do. Ain't nobody getting no more degrees over here. They not walking into the interviews, and I'm not teaching them how to beat their chest and their LinkedIn profile. I'm trying to get them clear on how they see themselves, because if we change this, they already gonna walk in the room, own the room, because they have everything. Okay, great. So you were rejected pretty much forever. And even in your friends, you attracted friends to treat you like your family treated you, but your grandfather, thank God, was awesome. That's why you're still here and you ain't floating down the river somewhere. Who funded you when you went to college?
My grandma.
Oh, so she does love you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, did you feel loved or you just felt disciplined? Which one was it? Or both? Or you can't figure out which one it was?
Both.
Oh, okay. She had great expectations for you.
She did, yeah.
Are your cousins knuckleheads?
We all have the same story with them with their mom, them with their mom. Like the whole family is just full of controlling, domineering women.
Well, they got it from your grandmama. So
Her sisters.
oh, okay. But that came from their childhood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. You didn't rise to your highest potential yet. Are your cousins successful or are they still in Louisiana?
Around the corner.
Okay, great. So you came forth in this family line to break this pattern.
Yeah.
But you ain't break it because you got stuck.
Right.
Okay, great. you're an aggressor. When do you become an aggressor? See, so you see how we had to get all of that? I already know why you acting aggressive.
Yeah.
Why you think you acting aggressive? What is your trigger point from 0 to 100?
Someone trying to dominate, control me, tell me what to do, and be petty with me.
Oh, it's over. What do?
Bark,
You
bite.
bark or you start swinging? Do you? Which one is it?
Starts with a bark, then a bite, then swinging, full on Mayweather.
What is it? What does the bite look like?
Cursing.
Oh, so you cuss them out. You black out.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah.
All right. How often does this happen?
Often.
Inbox me your LinkedIn profile. Are you on LinkedIn?
I'm not.
Oh,
I
that's
took
a problem.
everything.
That's a problem.
I took everything down, and I'm working on it right now.
Okay. I'll beat you in the head on that. On my last point. All right. Number one. Are you ready? Do you have your pen and paper?
I have it. Yes.
All right. So number one, what I want you to do is own that you came forth in this family to break generational patterns. TDJ
Okay.
said all great leaders are misfits because they were never meant to fit in with the people they were called to lead. So you were always going to be the weirdo, right? So you got to say, I want you to tell yourself that. So these are the words that you need to speak over your life. Because for every negative comment, it takes 14 positive comments to negate the one negative comment. And you have a whole 8-track. I don't know how old you are, if you know what an 8-track is. You got a whole tape.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
I know what it is.
You from Louisiana. You have a whole 2-hour tape recording playing of Woe Was Me.
Yeah.
So now we need to replace that with something that's new. Okay. So I want you to start looking in the mirror and telling yourself, one, I came forth in this family line to break generational patterns.
Okay.
Two, your grandmother did love you.
She did. Yes.
Her discipline was out of love to make sure you made it out because your cousins are still on the corner.
Yeah.
I'm not judging your cousins. I'm just stating, like, does that make sense?
It does.
You were the one.
Mm-hmm.
So in her trying to shape you, she unintentionally broke you.
Yeah.
She didn't mean that to happen.
Well, people now are trying to break me. I'm like, do you know my grandma already did that, so it don't matter to me. Like,
That ain't no. The other people are treating you how you see yourself. You walk around 5'4", acting like a victim, like a little chihuahua. So that's why they chomping at you. So we're gonna get off of what people are doing today. I want you to reframe what I talked about. This pocket that you're carrying around with. You got to change this. When you change how you see yourself, how people treat you will change. Does that make sense?
yeah,
People right now treating you how you acting.
got
You
it.
acting like a cat, but you actually a lioness. Because only lionesses follow me. Only. Period. Lions and lionesses. You walk around looking like a stray raggedy cat. I'm telling you how to fix this so we can move on. One, I came forth in this family line to break generational patterns. Two, my grandmother loved me.
Yeah,
Three, I forgive her. You writing this down?
I'm writing it down. Yeah.
Okay. Four, I forgive my family. I was not meant to be understood. I'm grateful for my grandfather. God gave you what you needed. You needed your grandmother to forge the fire out of you to make you hard as steel. Like, you needed that. If you just got softness, you wouldn't be who you are. You needed both of them. God gave you what you needed. Your perception of what happened is what's stopping you from moving forward. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I was not a foster kid. I was loved. You got to change that immediately. Foster kids is when you with somebody you don't know. And you bounce from house to house to house to house to house to house. You just went to your grandmother's house.
After they passed, I bounced from house to house. So that's
How
why.
how are you when they pass?
Um,
You leaving that part of the story out? What is wrong with you? Go ahead.
yeah, it went to aunts and cousins and friends.
How old were you when they passed?
17.
Oh, you were grown.
Yeah.
No, your grandmama gave you what you needed. That right there, that ain't no, you ain't no foster kid at 17. Because foster kids are released from the system at 18. You are grown. You have the foundations of being a champion, which is I want you to write that down.
Okay.
You weren't 6. or 5. 17, you solid. So you solid, baby. Like let's be clear. You just have judged the structure.
Yeah.
Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Create in me, Lord, a clean heart and renew a right spirit in me. Those are your scriptures. You have to change and let go of and break off the barnacles, because I was a Coast Guard, so I'm thinking like aquatic things. You have to break off like how you see yourself.
I see the barnacles as you said it.
Okay, great. You got to break that off. You like and reveal who's there. Once you remember who you are, you ain't got to do anything other than change how you see yourself, and how you change how you see yourself. You have to change and rewrite the script for how you judge your past. Then once you see yourself clearly, Layla, go forth and get the job that you desire. You ain't walking around with no master's degree talking about you unemployed working at these stores. That's a choice because you got barnacles on your eyes.
Okay.
You don't have to do one more thing. You bet not get another degree. Because if the second one didn't work, the third one is not going to do anything. Right?
Mm-hmm.
What was your master's degree in? And we'll talk on the next call.
Entrepreneurship.
What were you going to do with that degree?
I got certified in wedding planning.
All right. Why you ain't planning weddings? People ain't getting married no more?
They're getting married, yep. I just lost my spunk with a lot going on that I went through.
All right. So what I want you to do, Layla, do what I just told you to do. Join me next week so I can beat you in the head. We can figure out what you're going to do. Because I'm talking to somebody who got barnacle on their eyes, which is pointless. So I'm wasting my time right now. Does that make sense?
So what I'm going to do is work on the barnacles and the Romans 12:2 and the 5 things you gave me.
Great. And then next week, let's talk about where you're going, because I'm talking to somebody who's irrational, because you don't know who you are right now. I'm talking to the cat. I ain't talking to the lioness yet. All right.
Okay.
Yay. Somebody just asked, let me read it again. What is one belief or mindset shift that you think changes the game for most people you work with? Here's the thing. Most people want free, cheap, and easy solutions. Y'all want a hack. Y'all want the 1 minute thing. Y'all, how long was I just talking to Layla? What? And we ain't even get into like all of it. It takes work to change, right? And so how do you guide your clients through imposter syndrome, especially high achievers? I don't know if you just heard what we just did, Callie, over the past 25 minutes, but I invite you to watch the replay. The imposter syndrome comes from not knowing who you are. The imposter syndrome comes from telling a story that's not true. She was not a foster child. That alone, that one thing alone creates a whole host of issues of how she sees herself, and how she sees herself is going to limit how she's going to show up in the world. Point blank, period. That, and we didn't even get into like being harassed and the mama issues and the grandmama. Just saying I was a foster kid. It was not true. That's the imposter syndrome all day. Like, that's what creates the imposter syndrome. So until we're willing to go back and figure out why we have the imposter syndrome, looking for the one thing ain't gonna work. That's why y'all in therapy for 15, 20 years talking about the same thing. That's why, like I just talked about, your trauma default, which is what we just went through. What is the root cause of all the things that are going on in your life? What's the story? Well, and y'all can take a picture of a quilt and write down the story, because all of those things that we talked about is going to affect not just the job. It affects how she shows up in relationships. And I would have been irresponsible for digging that hole and not getting her out of it. It would have shaped how she shows up, like at work, in her relationships, in her friendships, in her like every area of her life, in her health, in her mental health, in her physical health, how she sees herself, how she dresses, how she makes money, how she allows herself to make money, how she, like, what kind of car she drives. All those things are wrapped up in that patch, in that quilt that I just talked about. Put a yes in the chat if y'all heard the story and if y'all are still with me, right? Like, if y'all stayed long enough and wasn't looking for the 1 minute hack, put a yes in the chat if y'all can see how just that part alone shapes it. All of that matters. So the one belief in the mindset, Callie, if you were still here, is not one thing. There is no hack. There is no, if I do this one thing, everything gonna change. No. No, it's not. If I listen to this podcast until we go and work on this childhood and how you see yourself, any podcast that you listen to is really going to be addressing and dressing up your brokenness. Anything that you listen to and anything that you do is going to dress up this. We ain't touched this, but this is how this person shows up. That's why you feel like an imposter. And it's only so much that a successful person can take before they break. The thing about successful people, either some people didn't like catch the rung on the ladder. Lately, you missed the rung. That don't mean the ladder ain't still there waiting for you. You ran and you tried to catch the ladder. I just used one hand. Y'all taking pictures. And you swung on the ladder and you fell flat on your back. That don't mean the ladder's still not there. You have everything. Man, get up. Okay? And the ladder isn't even that high. It ain't 6 feet tall, even though you're 5'4". It's like 5 feet tall. God is like, man, lower this ladder. Man, step up on this ladder and get up. Now, if you were the successful person and you ran and you grabbed the rung on the ladder and you pulled yourself up, still climbing, still got money. You got the 6-bedroom house. You got the car. You got the kids. You got the husband. And you still climbing. You don't know how to stop. And the foundation and the awareness of how you see yourself, especially in times like this, it really started in 2020. The foundation started cracking. And then you started to do more to try to smother it, to try to smother this with success. And you never stop to address this. So it doesn't matter how high you go. The higher you go, the further away you are from this, which is why now people are falling apart, breaking, talking about they bipolar. What? There are all these medical, mental conditions that people have. You're not at war with yourself. When you touch and agree, you ain't bipolar. You just trying to deny your quilt is like smothering your eyes and choking you out. And it's plenty of medical professionals, therapists will give you medication and some raggedy diagnosis. It's a new label every week for a woman. And men have them too. But women are the ones who go and get these diagnoses and then wear it around, walk around as a badge of honor. Let me know if y'all have any questions because I went off the rip. I can't take it. It's ridiculous. And everybody's like, oh my God, I got that too. No, let's go clean up your childhood and how you see yourself. Because you can fall for the trickery if you denying the truth. They just making up stuff and medicating you for it. And y'all taking it because you're exhausted and you're tired and you're wore out and you feel like a victim. And the world will make you one if you let them. And you can't take it no more. So at least a medical diagnosis will help me understand why I can't rise, which is a lie. The medical diagnosis will give you an excuse to just lay there on the bottom. Man, get up. The point is to stop looking for an easy fix and do the work to reframe, forgive, and heal so we can move forward without the baggage. Yes. You got to look at your past without judgment. Look at it from the perspective of the rational adult mind, not the wounded child. If you look at your childhood from the wounded child's perspective, you're gonna be a wounded woman, right? If you look at your childhood from the perspective of the rational adult as an observer, just write it down on a quilt, y'all. Write it down on paper, and then look at it. If Layla would have wrote down her childhood on a piece of paper and be like, I was raised by my grandparents, she wouldn't have said she was a foster child. Because Layla, you grown. You know you weren't no foster kid. Look up the definition of foster. Foster at 17? No, it's impossible. Your grandmama did that. I hope you found this insight useful. Go ahead and use the link in the description below to take my trauma default pattern quiz so you can figure out which pattern you're stuck in. Like this video and subscribe to my channel to get more information so you can set yourself free from yourself and the narrative and the story that you're telling yourself that's keeping you stuck in every area of your life. Lastly, if you want to learn more about your trauma default, watch this video right here.